Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first live for our page. This blooming room with Coach Chinyere. All right. Okay, so how has everyone been? Have everybody been okay? I hope everybody has been fine. All right, fantastic. So, I decided I was supposed to be hosted on a YouTube site on a particular individual's page, Obodo Igbo TV, but unfortunately, she had an emergency and we had to reschedule. So I thought to myself, I'm mentally prepped to be on a live stage, so why not come to my page and use the live okay. All right, so I have a number of emails that I'll be for this live. How it's going to go is I'm going to go to my mails and pull out an interesting subject, questions that I've been asked over time. My name is Coach Chinyere, in case you all don't know me. I'm a life and a relationship coach. So the subject, I'll be picking out some subjects from my email that I find interesting, that I think will be very relevant for all of us to look at and talk about. So today I want to start from a topic that is close to her. I'm a church girl, but I like to call myself a cognitive church girl. That's what I like to call myself, a cognitive church girl. What that means is that I believe in spirituality, and I also believe in the place of common sense. I believe in spirituality, but I also believe in using common sense. And I think that for some of us who have been born, bred, and buttered in the church, it's a very delicate thing to balance. It's a very delicate thing to balance. It is delicate to balance church and sex, because the concept of scriptures and religion being a subject that's supposed to be holy, you come holy and undefiled in the presence of God, a number of people cannot seem to balance spirituality and sexuality. And every day in the news, or every other day or every other week, we hear of a pastor who has cheated on his wife, a pastor who has committed adultery, a pastor who has had carnal knowledge of an underage, of a minor. So whether we like it or not, sex is an important issue in the house of God. But over time, remember how we used to be, how many times can you ever remember where sermons were held in church that had to do with sex? It's a taboo. Even in marriage counseling, they tell you, oh, how often you should have it and all of that. But they don't really get into it. And for me, I think that the 21st century church, this is my belief, that the 21st century church is not quite ready. All of it. Some people are more than others. But I think that the 21st century church needs to do more in becoming relevant in this time and age. The methods of teaching, some of these things that we tend to think are taboos, thou shalt not mention them, they are unholy subjects, or they are things that you talk about in the dark or behind closed doors. Come on now. let's not make pretend that pastors and deacons and knights are not having sex. They are having sex. So why is it such a subject that is rarely spoken about? And why is it such a subject that is not fully dissected, even for those who are about to enter into the realm of marriage? Sexual intimacy and sexual compatibility is a big deal. I did a video that's on YouTube where I talked about porn on the altar, and I talked about the fact that, I have heard of pastors who had married virgins, and they were already advanced in life. They've been doing it with other people, and they are marrying ladies that have never had any sexual experience. And now what is happening is he's bringing this new bride in and having all of these expectations of something that she doesn't know about and she's supposed to ordinarily start to do. And so if she doesn't catch up quickly, he can become sexually bored. And because he's already wired to have these pleasures in a certain way, the tendency to want to go out to continue with the bad girls that he's been with, or that he used to be with, is very high. So the question now is, who does what? Does he tempt down his sexuality, or does she up her sexuality? Either way, she's competing with spirits that she doesn't know about. She's competing with Falake, Atinuke, Rosemary, Ngozi, Chiamaka, and the people that she had never met in her life. This dear lady is in competition with them in the bedroom, because she doesn't know much. So the question therefore is, how do we tell women about the importance of sex, style, positions, sexual hygiene, body weight and body size? How do we teach women all of this and get them prepped and make them realize that sex is just beyond getting pregnant and having children? There is something to be enjoyed. There is pleasure in sex. How do we get them to that place without Oh, sorry, just 1 second. How do we get them to that place without them losing their personality as well? How? It is something that we should talk about and discuss, because it is very, very key, and it is very, very important. Very key and very important. It is very, very crucial that we all understand that these matters make or break a relationship. These matters make or break a relationship. It's important that we know that, so that we are well aware of what we are getting ourselves into. So a couple of questions that have been asked, and I remember someone reached out to me, and she's a pastor's wife, and we had the conversation, and I I told her to send me her pictures. And she's talked about the fact that her husband was, she's not really pleasing him in the bedroom. And the first thing I said was, let me see your picture, and let me see your picture with your husband. And she sent it to me. She said she married him. She hadn't known anybody else but him. But that over time she's had a child. That she can't really say that she's, she just has sex, yes, and she's only man she can't say if she's satisfied or not satisfied. She doesn't even know what it means to be sexually, satisfied and all of that. All she knows is, she's being, she's having sex with her husband. So she doesn't know anything about pleasure and all of that. So I asked her if she was circumcised. And she said, no, she was not circumcised. I said, okay. So I looked at a picture, and the husband is looking on the chubby, relatively chubby side, relatively chubby side. Not too bad. But the lady herself is on the, she's heavy. I know because maybe she's had a child. She has 2 children rather. So one of the questions I asked her is, when you were married to your husband, what was your weight size? And she said, oh, she wasn't on the heavy side. She was way more moderate, not as big as she was now. I said, sometimes men don't know how to tell their wives, because our people believe that when a woman is round, she's well fed. She's well taken care of. So our people, it's difficult. Some men will not come out to tell you, I don't want you overweight. But no, the first thing you need to do is you need to cut down your weight. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to change your diet. Not only your diet, but also even that of your husband. You should try better ways of cooking some of those things that we cook. I know most of our diet is really heavy on starch. And we do a lot of oil. Cut down on the fries. Stick more to vegetables and fiber, and throw in some exercise. Find things that you can do with your husband that would make you not just eat healthy and lose weight, but also to live healthy lives. It's very important. That is very key. To live a healthy life is very, very key. Very, very key. So it's important that you be careful with the weight. Yes, you have kids. We know that you have kids and all that. But that doesn't mean that you should just be careless and just eat whatever you find. You have to be realistic. You have to be realistic. You have to get to a moderate size. The second thing you need to do is you have to be playful. Once the element of surprise has left a union, when you have a particular thing all the time, if you don't mix and match and play around with it a little bit and then spice it up a little bit, it becomes boring, it becomes mundane, it becomes repetitive. So you need to find ways to make the bedroom exciting. Do you pay attention to the bed sheet? As soon as you come into a room, everything about that room should be seductive. The arrangement of that room, the bed sheet of that room, the texture of the pillow in that room, the lighting in that room, the smell in that room. How do you dress when you're in the house? Are you always in boo-boo? Are you always in boo-boo? Are you also using boot? You know, the free flowing ones, the one that won't bring out your figure because you don't want anybody to see your figure, or you're hiding. I don't know what you're hiding, but you know, get some bum shots. It's not a crime. Put on some bum shots. Wear something that will, you know, push, you know, make you look presentable. Don't have people will say, oh, okay, sexual toys. Some say, okay, he wants to introduce some new things. The Bible says that marriage is the bed of marriage is undefiled. So as long as it is something that is acceptable to your spirit and to his spirit, when you introduce it, it has to be something that both of you can live with. I'm not saying go overboard, because there's some people, there's a difference between, and it should reflect in how you dress, how you present yourself. The next thing that I want to talk about as well is a sexual toy. You've tried. What's that? You have a role to play. You can't just be a receiver. Once in a while he's on top, the next minute you go on top. Try different things. Make it exciting. And that's why you need to, we're not saying be skinny, but at least have a weight that is flexible, so that they can, you know, bend you in different positions, and there'll be no risk of dislocation or injury or fracture. Yeah? So you need to try that. Sexual hygiene is very, very important. A lot of us women don't know sexual hygiene. If a man is pouring into you, the tendency to smell like rotten fish is very high. When bacteria starts to act on all that semen, it starts to be stinky, stinky. So you need sexual hygiene. You need to wash. You need to learn to use your fingers. Go in there and make sure every curve, every space, water is splashed. If you don't have a shower head, to put under there and make sure the force of the water is washing, and using your fingers to do the sanitation. You can use your bowl. Take water with your bowl, pour it in there, use your fingers, wash, put your water in your palm, go there and poop, 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 poop. Clean every angle. It's important. These things are crucial. How do you change your panties? Do you wear one panty for the whole day? You sweat, you pee. How do you even pee? Do you check your urine when you pee? If your urine is coming out very concentrated, almost looking like Fanta, you're not drinking enough water, because the more concentrated it is, the more smelly it is. That means you're not drinking enough water. Why are you not drinking enough water? So when you go, tissue is not enough. Some people don't even use tissue. I'm like, wow. Use tissue. Sometimes if you don't want to, you don't have, I would advise wipes, with unscented wipes. If you don't have unscented wipes, you can use tissue. Just sprinkle a little bit of water, just make it damp, and make sure you dab. Take off that smell, that excess urine drops. Take it off. It's still there. Those small follicles of hairs you have there, some drops are trapped. You put it in your panty. The pant absorbs them. After you've peed 3-4 times in a day with that same pant, it starts to smell. You open your lap, people are like, oh, well, you know, especially when you're in your period. The pad is so soaked head back to back. There's no white space. Pack extra pads. Clean up. Come on, ladies, clean up. Change the pad regularly. Your armpit, shave. Don't leave all that hair there. Shave. Use deodorant. Use roll-on. It's important. These things are very, very important. Like I said before, try different positions. Monkey style, dog style, fish style. Try it. Introduce new things. When you eat, you don't need a ban soup. You eat rice. You take pap and akara. You take moi moi. Even the beans, you don't just eat it one way. You boil it. You wash it. You do moi moi. You do akara. So why is it just go there? You just come on now. We need to do better. We need to do better. Better. We need to do better. Better. We need to do better. Yeah. All right. So, it's our first show. I want to make it short as we go along. As more people join us, we will increase the time. God bless you. And so, please, women of God, especially pastors' wives. Wasatwa. It's very important. Wasatwa. I know you have kids, I know, but you know those kids are part of your family, but they're not part of your marriage. The marriage has a walk. And yeah, sex is sex. It's follow. You follow. Please. All right. God bless you.